Visit cruisecultureapparel.com for the latest issue of Cruise Culture magazine, featuring the raddest home and garage-built rides. You are listening to the Cruise Culture magazine podcast, covering all of your favorite articles from the magazine and more. Like, subscribe, and tell us what you think in the comments below. Keep cruise culture alive.
Welcome. Today on the Cruise Culture Magazine podcast, I want to go all the way back to our second issue from October of 2022. In this issue, we included an article written by our very own Brian Holsley about Jacob Maier and his diesel-powered Model A. The photography was captured by the very talented Mike Schuler with MG1 Photography. Before we get into this beautiful work of art, let's discuss the quick history of the Model A. The Ford Model A was a popular car produced by the Ford Motor Company from 1927 to 1931. It was the successor to the Model T and was designed to be a more modern, stylish, and comfortable car for the average American consumer. One interesting fact about the Model A is that it was the first car to have safety glass installed in the windshield. This was a significant safety improvement as it reduced the risk of passengers being injured by broken glass in the event of an accident. Another interesting fact is that the Model A was the first car to feature a standard fuel gauge. This made it much easier for drivers to keep track of their fuel levels and helped to prevent them from running out of gas unexpectedly. The Model A was also available in a wide range of body styles, including coupes, sedans, and trucks. Some of the more unusual body styles included the station wagon, the Phaeton, and the Victoria. These models were relatively rare and are highly sought after by collectors today. Despite its popularity, the Model A was eventually replaced by the more advanced and modern Model B. However, it remains an important part of automotive history and a beloved classic car among enthusiasts. Now, Jacob Maier of Maier Metalworks in Texas states, "This Model A isn't a rat rod, but a hot rod piece of art." Jacob went all out on this custom 5-inch chopped and 3.5-inch channeled body. He built from scratch the frame to support his 1,000-pound compound turbo 12-valve Cummins. Maier was inspired by the ultra-viral D-Rod in early 2016 when he decided to pull the trigger on a 1930 Ford Tudor sedan that he found on Craigslist. With the help of a buddy in his truck, they loaded the cab into the box and hauled it back to the shop from San Antonio. The decision was to go all in and do all the work he could himself and learn as much as possible on the way. The determination behind this build over the next 5 years appears to be unwavering. Every night after work and almost every weekend was spent building. He started out renting a bay from a buddy, and they got him going and let him borrow tools. A year or so into the build, Jacob had to move to El Paso, Texas for work, so he found a shop to rent and park his RV at. Worked out great because the shop owner was a fellow hot rod guy. He was there for a year and then moved his tools and car back to his friend's shop in San Marcos. That lasted a year or so before he had to go back to El Paso again. The second trip there, he only brought the body to focus on body work and was planning to paint it. Maier knocked out all the mindless block sanding in 3 months and ended up painting it with a Harbor Freight paint gun in the driveway a few weeks before he needed to head back home to San Marcos again. Shortly after the move back, he built his shop at his house and moved everything again. In the end, Jacob had a goal, and he was determined to see it through. The engine is a P-pump 12-valve Cummins and a Jake's Performance built full manual valve body TH400 with a kill-to-flight rod shifter. Engine has power-driven diesel 5x.018 injectors, .025 deliver valves, 4K governed spring kit, 4K valve springs, lift pump, S475 atmospheric turbo paired with the factory H1C turbo with a smaller 64 centimeters turbine housing, head studs, and of course all the fun stuff done to the factory Bosch injection pump. The custom frame boasts an IFS setup with full air ride and a custom hydro boost brake setup from an airplane tug cart that is hidden under the dash. The interior is made up of aluminum and copper sheet metal. Jacob drives it as much as possible but avoids the rain due to the open top and the Coker cheater slicks on the back. There are some things that he maybe wants to change or redo as he uses it, but for the most part, he just wants to drive it now. His favorite show has been Lone Star Roundup because of the sheer size and popularity, but he also enjoys local shows like River Rod, Ribs and Rods, and the latest Hot Rod Tour of Texas. What about Jacob Maier himself? By day, he is the quality control manager for a pre-stressed concrete plant, and by night, he is Maier Metalworks LLC, where he does sheet metal fabrication, custom sheet metal interiors, art, solid rivet work, and anything else he has time for. He daily drives a 2016 Malibu and hauls with a 2012 Cummins. Jacob was inspired by his grandpa and his uncle owning hot rods to become a gearhead at a young age and started building cars in his early 20s. Currently, he takes on a couple of big jobs a year with his business and is building a 1950 Chevy styling to be chopped and bagged. I definitely want to thank all the guys that put in the work to put the shows and cruises together locally. Bobby Sparkman with all he does for organizing events, JP for the shows he has been building up, Steven and the guys at Ribs and Rods. Without people like them, guys like me wouldn't have a place to talk shit and display our latest works of art. Model and Mefia has been in day one, homie, and it has been cool to watch them grow as a community. Mittler Bros isn't a sponsor, but they have sure helped share my work, and I thank them for that. There are too many individuals to list that shared advice or took the time to DM me on how to figure things out. Just know that it's all greatly appreciated, and I do my best to pay it forward, says Jacob. What an incredible ride and an awesome story. A lot of us might have left that project behind with all that moving back and forth, but not Jacob. Make sure to pick up your copy of Cruise Culture magazine, issue number 2, at cruisecultureapparel.com. We appreciate your support, and as always, keep cruise culture alive. See you next time.
Thank you for listening to Cruise Culture Magazine podcast, with new episodes every Mondays and Thursdays at noon. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss one, and tell us in the comments what you want to hear in a future episode. Keep cruise culture alive.